I don't know that he's picking him. I got Robert Meriwether. Champ, what it
No.
do?
What's going on?
How are you?
I'm good. Are you?
I'm good, man. Happy to have you. I guess congratulations are in order, man. You got a new deal, so you back on TV. We gonna get to see your next fight. Um, yeah, man. Congratulations. What could you tell us about this new venture?
I mean, I'm very excited to for my new path on my journey, and I just feel like this is a good it's a good opportunity for me to be on a TV platform like BLK Prime and showcase my talent to more people.
So I'm hearing that there's a possibility of a fight coming up that you're training for. I mean, I seen one of your dad's posts, and he said that you guys are already back in camp for your debut.
Yeah, we getting ready for something coming up. We're gonna see what's the day, and I'm ready.
So what are you expecting from this? I guess partnership with Black Prime.
I mean, I'm expected to make BLK Prime better than it ever was. They've had fights like Terrence Crawford and if Nissan, and they about to fight with I think with Wilder too. So it's a good platform for me, but I feel like I can elevate it and become BLK Prime's first champion.
Nice, nice. I like the thought of that. Now, I know that you and your dad went back. Is that considered home to St. Louis, or is it
Louisville.
Louisville? Louisville.
Yeah.
Is that something you think you can get Black Prime to do? Because the last time out, I know that you guys sold a bunch of tickets, but obviously that wasn't able to be seen on television. Are you looking forward to bringing Black Prime to Louisville?
For sure. We got to talk to him, and Price is with BLK Prime too, and he's out in Louisville too. So I feel
Price
like it's
Sparrow?
gonna be, yeah.
Okay,
So
I didn't know he was from Louisville. That's crazy.
well,
I interviewed him.
he live out there, so I we'll definitely be able to pack it out even more, and man, sky's the limit. We just got to talk to BLK Prime soon.
For sure. Um, do you feel like you need that backing? Not need, but that's what you were lacking, right? Because I know that you've had these fights with, the Kermels, and you feel that you're up there with the Abdullahs of the world, and that, you know, you should be mentioned amongst those names. Do you feel you're lacking the endorsement or sponsorship from that Mayweather that Kermel got, or that top rank that Abdullah has?
Yeah, I definitely feel that way, but um, I just gotta be able to show it next time I get in the ring. And we got BLK now with backing me, and I make sure they're gonna elevate me, and I'm gonna elevate them.
That's where I was going next. Now that they're behind you and they've done fights with Crawford that obviously are memorable because of the amount of money and the knockout, they're going to do Wilder. Do you expect to become the face of Black Prime? They did do a bunch of signings, though, and they're all young guys. I mean, yourself, Price Sparrow, and Kamari Walker, all young. But do you see yourself as the face?
Right now I got the most experience out of all three of us, and you know I I gotta have that mindset of just being the most experienced guy, and showing why I'm like I should be the face and top prospects in boxing right now. So I do feel like I could become the face soon.
I think you are the face, respectfully. Robert, what's your next goal in the sport of boxing? Like, what's something you personally want to accomplish?
Next year, I definitely want to be prospect of the year next year,
Mm.
and knock that out, and I become world champion in 2 years at least. That's the immediate goal I have. And shoot, after that, it's so much smoke around like 130, 135. So I'll be able to. It's gonna be. I can't even tell you like what's going on right now because there's so much like there's so many champions in 135, there's so many prospects at 135, and there's so many like challengers too. So you know, I know it's gonna be it's gonna be rough, but I know myself and I believe in myself.
What do you prioritize? Like, because I believe that the younger generation, like you, Carmel, the Abdullahs of the world, you guys are more prioritizing the squabbles over like the generation of the Tanks, the Ryans, the Devons, like they're more A side money. Like y'all generation is more about like the legacy side of it. Are you do you prioritize legacy, or is it like a balance between prize fighting and legacy?
I mean, it's definitely a balance. Floyd is one of the greatest fighters. He's one of I think he could be the greatest fighter, but I still got Ali. But it's a balance between the two. They fought both Ali and Floyd was able to fight the best fighters in their divisions at the time, and they beat him. But with Floyd, he was just able to make money off of it. So I mean, it's definitely a balance between the two that I'm gonna be able to balance. And I mean, I definitely want. It's a smoke thing. We're gonna bring back boxing like it was in the '80s and the '90s, and everybody's gonna be able to fight each other.
Mm, that's what I like.
I mean, obviously, I feel like you should get some development before those fights happen. How soon are you seeing those fights happening?
I mean, whenever the belt is in the way, it's gonna be there. We already know you can't. There's no way to dodge a title shot. Yeah, I mean, it's just that's crazy. So
I mean,
um,
some do it. You got
I know.
Isak Cruz didn't take a few Shakur Stevenson title shot opportunities. William Cepeda. I mean, man, remember when Shakur had to fight De Los Santos, he went down 5 names to get to number 6, which was De Los Santos. All those 5 said no, Frank Martin being one of those names. So it certainly happens.
I mean, but Frank Martin ended up getting that title that tank shot he wanted. So
Yep,
he didn't
yep,
really he wasn't worried about that one.
yep. I mean, is that something you would do? Because he wasn't guaranteed. Obviously, we all would assume that he was told, like, all right, look, don't take that. But you were in negotiations with Shakur. According to him, his quote is, we want a little umph. And Shakur was only offering $1 million and a title shot. He wanted whatever little umph was more on top of that. He didn't take that. Now, yes, fast forward, what was it, like a year, Tom, later? Was
I
it a
think it
year?
was the next year.
Yeah, the next year, bro.
Yeah.
But he sat out too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
guess it's
guess he
still a big fight.
that tank fight was gonna be bigger. So I mean, he
So it's
just
worth
banked
it.
on. Yeah, he banked on it, and it worked out for him.
Mm. Damn, you would be willing to sit out a year for a big fight?
I can't do that. I got to at least get a two
No.
number or something.
Let's keep it in context. Would you be willing to wait a year for a tank fight? You know you gonna get it, but you gotta be out 12 months.
I have to be out 12 months.
I mean,
I
that's
can't
a
fight.
year.
I can't fight another contender. I just gotta be out for
I
12
mean,
months.
that's how Frank did it.
I mean, he probably was getting 5 million plus guaranteed. So I mean, you take the 1 million against Shakur, and we know he wasn't gonna win. I mean, it's just like a
Wait. How I mean, you know Shakur personally. You've sparred all those guys. So what was it about Shakur's style and Frank's style that made you say you knew he wasn't gonna win? Because they still haven't fought.
I mean, I don't even know Shakur personally, but I know like Shakur being in the ring and seeing him also, it's like a and seeing Frank Martin. Frank Martin is he stays, he's kind of he would wanted to box with Shakur, and I don't, he's not gonna be able to outbox him. Like with Tank, he tired out because he was trying to outbox Tank and get out the way. But with Shakur, I feel like Shakur is a better boxer than Frank Martin. So he probably would have outsmarted him. And then, Frank got his million and he wouldn't have been able to get the Tank fight.
Yeah, respectfully, champ. This weekend, I watched. I don't. You're a young guy. I watched Streamers University, and I seen all these young cats just streaming, get money. I don't know about what your personality is, but is that something that you can probably incorporate to your brand and like be the first boxer streamer? Because there's an audience out there that's willing to pay. And like boxing was super incorporated in this weekend. Anytime somebody brought up Soldier Boy to DDG, so DDG grabbed the boxing gloves and let's run the squabble. So like I think they need the young boxers to incorporate that to get that audience to be like your fans. Is that something that you do? Have you ever streamed anything like that?
Uh, you know what? I was talking to my dad about it because he doesn't know about stuff like that, and I was telling him it's a different avenue for me right now, and I gotta be able to, you know, jump on it. And I was thinking about getting a computer and a camera and all of that, and go ahead
Yeah.
and set up, because I play the game sometimes, so I could, you know I got a cool personality. People I know, they say I'm funny, so I can you know be able to go online with it and show how my true self is, and get more fans, more support
Super.
with
Yeah. Super.
with YouTube and Twitch.
Champ, speaking of your dad, obviously he is your trainer and your father. So, he's been there from the beginning. But has there ever been a moment where he's pushed you too hard in training that has, I don't know, made you think about switching up?
Um, I'll say when I was younger, probably when I was like 9, 10 years old, because I played football and I played basketball when I was young. So that's what I wanted to do at first, and then I got into boxing, and I was training with other guys. And as soon as we moved out here, I was training with my dad, and he's competitive, and I'm competitive too. So whenever I'm not listening, or I didn't really do my best in sparring or training, or even in a amateur fight, he was on me. And with in hindsight, it was good. Like, but at the time, I wasn't really down with it. Being 10 years old, being yelled at, and he's mad at me just because I didn't throw a jab when I was supposed to throw a jab. So sometimes I did think about not boxing anymore, but I still pushed through. And I felt this is God's this is God's plan for me.
For sure, for sure. Um, I got a couple questions here from the people. First one is, let me make sure. First one is from Malcolm. He says, how often, when someone hears your last name, do they somehow think you're related to Mayweather in some kind of way?
Every time, every time, every time.
That's
Whenever
funny.
I go anywhere, it's just like I could go to a regular like grocery store, and then they'll figure out my name somehow, and they'll be like, "Oh, you, it's like Mayweather." I'm like, nah. Nah. It was like, I was like, I boxed though, and it was like, oh, I mean, it's in the name. I can see why. I was like, yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Let me see the next one. I got from El Consejero in Washington State. Robert, appreciate your time. How do you take care of your mental health, especially before a fight?
Um, that's tough. It I think boxing is 90% mental and 10% physical. My dad's always told me that since I was a kid. It's mostly mental, and you just gotta be able to bottle everything up and use it in the gym or use it in the fight. So I mean, I'm able to push through anything I'm going through in life, my personal life, and push that aside and be able to do what I love.
So, have you ever been to Shreveport, Louisiana?
Yeah, a long time ago.
For what? Just family or boxing?
Nah, I had a tournament out there a long time ago.
Hmm. So,
I
July
heard they have a fight
5th.
out there. Yeah, it's a
Say
fight.
what? Say what?
I heard it's a fight out there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to
Yeah.
be a fight potentially happening on July 5th, Saturday after Independence Day. Um, is that something you would do? Could you fight the day after Independence Day, or that holiday doesn't matter? Like, I mean, obviously it matters, but it won't get in the way of a training camp.
I mean, for me, I don't look at holiday. Well, while I'm boxing, I don't really look at holidays as a as big for me. Like I fought on my mom's birthday was the day before one of my fights out here in Vegas. I think he was there, and then my last fight was in March, and I was in camp for my birthday, so I didn't really do anything. So I mean, birthdays, holidays, it doesn't really matter. I'm in the gym until my fight's over, and I could celebrate after.
Now that's not close from Louisville, though. You think you could bring them out? It's like a 10-hour drive, man. Sound
And
crazy.
that's I can bring them out whatever, bro.
Wherever.
Wherever.
That's what I like to hear, man. That's what the TV networks want to hear. You know that. Shit. Let me get back to these from the people. We got Teasy from Atlanta. What was the problem with Probox? And you ever do business with them again?
I'm never shooting down an opportunity, but I mean, there's a lot of they didn't like my style, so I mean, that's on them. If they don't like me, they don't like me. And I was able to move past it and still elevate myself. I don't really gotta. I'm not going to worry about the past.
For sure, for sure. I got Treese in Toledo. What sanctioning body do you plan on pursuing? Because I thought you would have been good for that WBC Grand Prix tournament. That would have
Amen.
been a good opportunity.
I was talking about that, but they didn't have it in my weight class. They
Mm.
had it at 26, and then they had it at 40. So that's the sanctioning body I want too. I want WBC. I've always loved WBC's belts, and that's what I really mess with right there.
What advice do you give to young fathers that are training their sons? Again, not trying to have you say anything bad about your dad. This is more about teaching that next crop of fathers that in their mind, they're a boxing fan. They want their son to, I'm about to say play boxing and shit. They want their son to be a boxer, but you're still a kid, not deciding, trying to just do your thing. So how does a dad navigate his son? Because obviously, look at you now, right? This is your profession. You're able to make money from it. So your dad's advice worked out in the long run, and hopefully it continues to work out if you level up and be a champion. But, getting to this point, we can see father-son relationships divide because a father's too strict or wants the son to keep a certain discipline. I hope I'm not long-winded, which I know I am.
I mean, it's definitely a learning curve. My dad pushed me hard, and I mean, it worked out. But at the time, it's really difficult to think of just it being easy. or boxing is never going to be easy. Any sport's not going to be easy, but boxing specifically is going to be is the hardest sport in my opinion. So just being able to keep your mind right and keep your mind in boxing and in the game is just like um, that's going to be a difficult task on its own. So I just say, as a dad, if your son don't want to do it, don't force him to do it. But if he wants to, push him as hard as he wants to, as you can. Don't don't get into his head about not doing something, or just make sure you push him right. That's all I say.
Now this one is a bit tough in the sense that Muhammad Ali is considered the GOAT. And then he's from Louisville, right? So it's like you King Robert, the right answer would be you don't want to be the next Muhammad Ali. You want to be the first Robert Meriwether, but you still gonna have Muhammad Ali coming from that city. That's still, like it or not, that's who you competing against in terms of legacy for that city. Like Keyshawn, for instance, is competing with what? Pernell Whitaker, right? Comes from his city, no?
Yeah.
So does that even play in the back of your mind that, your city, they know that Ali comes from there, so it's like, I guess, big shoes to fill?
I mean, I feel yeah, but also like with Ali, he was the people's champ. So it was so many different things that they were going through back in the day with segregation and racism and all types of stuff. And being in the South, it was definitely difficult. So that's gonna be a little harder for me because he was the people's champ. People loved him just for who he was inside and outside the ring, and I'm gonna be able to you know show that I'm a great person outside the ring, but I'm a monster inside the ring.
With Black Prime pushing you as a future champ, but you're only 9-0, do you feel like you've already proven to yourself? Like, is there a fight that you felt like that brought the dog out of me? Have you had that one already?
Yeah, it was a tough. It was a. I'll say my second fight was actually tough in Mexico. I had I was 17 and I had like a 30-year old Mexican straight farm, like he was a farmer, like, and he just wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop letting his hands go, and he wouldn't stop coming forward. And I was able to, stick in there because the ring was about 12 by 12, and
Damn, that's little.
it was like in the middle. It was in the middle of the downtown club in Tijuana. So the it was in the middle of the club. Like everybody walk around the ring. All the fans could walk around the ring. So it was a small club, and the ring is literally, it was so small. And I already knew he was gonna keep coming forward, and he didn't stop. But at the end of the day, I left him with a closed eye and another black eye. So I mean, that day I was like, yeah, I could do this for sure.
Now, being from Vegas, not being from Vegas, but living in Vegas, did the inspiration to turn pro in Mexico come from a Devin Haney?
No, actually, it was just I was 15, and I was training with Angelo Leo for his camp when he was getting ready to fight Scooter the first time. And when that fight had fell through and he had fought the other guy and became champ, um, I was in that camp and Floyd had came into the gym and he had seen me. So that was when I started training with Floyd. And then, Floyd was like, he wanted to sign me. And at that time, I was 15, 16. So I decided to graduate early at 16 so I can be able to go pro. You got Floyd in your ear, telling you he wants to sign you and go and make you go pro and do all these things for you. I was like, all right, cool. So I decided to do my junior and senior year at the same time, graduate early at 16 years old, and we went to Mexico and me and my dad on our own because Floyd ain't say anything after that. So we got 2 fights in, and after that, that's when Floyd had called back and wanted us to come out. That's when we fought out here in December of 2022. So it wasn't even like I was looking at Devin Haney or because he got a lot of backlash even then for going out there and fighting. But I mean, I think it was a good path for me. I didn't want to fight amateur anymore, even at 15. That was my last fight at amateur. I was like 15, 14 years old. So I was able to go pro, and now I got a good journey ahead for me.
Nah, for sure. And at that age, you just can't go pro here in Nevada unless you get some sort of special permit or something or request. I don't know. I know it took Devin some time to fight here as well.
Yeah, I was 17 when I fought out here at in December. It was a lot of my mom had to sign off on something, my dad had to sign off on something, and all types of stuff.
Now, how I mean, you spoke about, a little bit, you touched on having a guy like Mayweather in your ear. How did that feel though at 15?
I mean,
How did it boost
I
your
went
confidence? How did it, I guess intensify your training, if any?
at the time. I mean, it was just with that. I was dead set on going pro. So we changed the training regimen. Um, I took about a month or two off just so I could focus on school, so I can get out of school, not worry about school anymore, just so I could focus on boxing. And you know that after that it was work, 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 and hearing that from a guy like Floyd Mayweather, I mean, it definitely turned me up. It made I mean, it pulled a dog out of me, it pulled a fire out of me, just to you know show that that Floyd, you're right. But at the end of the day, that 2023 year when I was with Floyd, it was just real hard. It was a lot of fights that didn't go through. So it was a good opportunity at first, but over time it made it a little difficult.
For sure. I got Quest out of Virginia. What's up, champ? Blind rank these 5 boxers. So I'm gonna give you one boxer at a time, and it is 1 through 5, one being the best. Shushu Carrington.
So this is all in the same weight class.
I can't tell you.
Nah, he about to add some wrestlers in this shit. It's about to be nasty.
I
This
go.
nigga-
Damn, I want to say two, but he ain't get.
It ain't
I
gonna
go
be no
three.
wrestlers, man. Don't listen to this guy.
I go three,
All right. Nick Ball,
4.
Stephen Fulton.
Oh, 2,
You did it, champ. Inoue,
1.
Ashaki Foster.
Damn. We gotta be 5, but
But you would have put him where?
I would have put him. I would have put him 3, 4.
Mm.
Well, now I would have went in a way. Well, that's difficult though. The Fulton Oshaki. But I go in a way Fulton, Shushu, Shockey, and then Nick Ball.
Wow, you put the champ last over Shushu? Them
I
sparring
mean, I
sessions
feel
must
like
be good. You and him sparring?
yeah, I'm just saying. I feel like Shushu would be able to knock off Nick Ball. He's a good fighter, but he's small.
Yo, but what about that
He's small.
aggression? Homie is aggressive and he get dirty with his aggression. He want to wrestle
That's
you.
true, but I mean, we would have to see if Shushu can deal with it. But I mean,
But from a boxing
Nick
standpoint,
Ball.
you think Shushu got him.
I feel like he's a good boxer. So but and Oshaki hasn't had a good couple. His last couple fights hasn't been good. So that's why I put Shushu above him. And then Nick Ball is a tough fighter, and he's tough. But after seeing that Ray Vargas fight, that's all I had to see. I mean, and then he fought when he fought Ray Ford. I was like, yeah, he's definitely a tough fighter. But I mean, Ray kind of stood there a little bit too much with him. So if Shushu is able to boxing for all 12 rounds, I mean he could do it. Or even 7 to 8. All you gotta do is win 7 rounds.
All right. The next one is from Michael B. He says, "Hey champ, what's your definition of legacy, and what goals do you have set for your boxing career?"
Legacy. I mean it's a lot with with legacy as far as boxing wise. Basketball is really pinpoint. Become a NBA champion and be the best on your team. But boxing is it's a lot of different principles with just being a legacy fighter. Now there's 4 belts, so you become an undisputed champion. That's in the ranks. Now we're having 2-time undisputed champions like in a way, and but if you're able to do that, that's legacy. And um, just being a winner and a champion for a long time. I feel like that's another legacy thing for you. Like we have a Michael Jordan. He never lost in the finals, and he was always pulling his team to the championship no matter what. So as a boxer, if you're able to fight adversity and to become a world champion and to become an undisputed world champion, not once but twice, not even twice, but 3 times. That's legacy right there, in my opinion.
Absolutely. We got the last one here from Jonathan Sims. He says, "What are some mistakes fathers make on a amateur and professional side that needs to be talked about and addressed?"
I mean, it's a lot, because it's not just amateurs. You're learning a lot of how boxing really is. You're learning, how other fighters fight. You're going to see how your son is, and then when you go pro, you also have the business side of it. So when you hit the business side of it, there's a lot to learn. And me and my dad, we're able to learn. We're learning on the fly ourselves, just learning how the politics work, and you know how the business side of boxing is really hard to kind of maintain, and then we got to learn how to be able to get up the ranking. So it's a lot to learn for as far as being a father in boxing, because you're not going unless you're like one of the you already been in boxing. You got to learn a lot of things to help your son, and that's all.
Well, champ, that is the last question. I thank you for coming on the show. Look forward, man, to your next fight. I don't know. I'm hearing maybe July. So hopefully that is enough time for you to get ready, and we could all catch that one on Black Prime. Give everybody your social media for those that don't know where to follow you at or how to follow you.
You can follow me on Instagram at King Robert, and then so that's King Robert 3 eyes, and then you can follow me on Twitter, big at Big King Robert, and uh follow me follow my dad on Facebook. He on at Robert Meriwether. He's always posting me nonstop. Even on Instagram at underscore Coach Rob underscore. So just follow the journey. We we coming up right now. We're gonna become the next it guy for sure.
All right, champ. You know we locked in, man. I appreciate you.
I always appreciate you having me on here.
Nah, you got it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Meriwether, future champ.